the Mega Power explode here at Wrestlemania 5.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the OverAF Wrestling Podcast. Last week, we reviewed Wrestlemania 12, and we're in full swing WrestleMania season. Right now, we got a week left before WrestleMania 36. There's a lot going on.
Possibly WrestleMania.
Possibly. 36. But I'm former professional wrestling champion Alex Thorn, and I'm joined by...
Danny, just Danny.
No, not just Danny. Not just Danny,
just
man.
Danny.
You've got a lot of accomplishments
no
on your belt. Supervisor Danny.
Supervisor.
No, man, you're the coolest guy around. But today we're going to talk about WrestleMania 5. And there's a lot of memories we have going into this one. Before we do, what's the feedback you've heard on WrestleMania 12?
Yeah, people are listening. They're loving it, man. We got over almost 160 downloads. So we want to thank you, OverAF Nation. Right now is the time, we're all in quarantine. So we're trying to bring you some type of entertainment, get your mind off of what's going on in the world right now. And what better way, to do that with what we love, the sport we love, right?
That's right, yeah. I mean, that's why the OverAF podcast and podcasts in general are so great right now, because they'll take your mind off of things.
Yeah.
And it's so customizable. There's a podcast out there for everything you love, whether you're a horror movie fan, a toy collector, pro wrestling fan, or even MMA. There's something for everybody, and hopefully our podcast is one little part of your day, especially since you guys have been listening so much, bringing us towards 160 downloads so far, and we're not even done with the month. Danny, you mentioned it. We're in quarantine now. The last time we talked, I don't think we were at this point yet.
Not yet. Yeah. We were in the process of it. There was talks of it, but we weren't there yet. But yeah, listen to it while you're working from home. A lot of us are doing that. I know me and you are doing that. Put it in the background. Let us entertain you for a while. Get your mind off things. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about today, especially what's going on now with WrestleMania up in the air.
Yeah, so I mean, you mentioned it. What's over now? What's over now really is there's no fans anywhere. The shows have been canceled. Yeah. Braun Strowman is in trouble on Twitter for basically telling wrestlers to toughen up and find some way to make money, even if you're not wrestling shows. I know a lot of wrestlers who had matches WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
At all the indie shows that were booked out there. Some guys were wrestling 6 to 8 times in one weekend.
Yeah.
There's such a thing as called double booking, which is where you work 2 shows in one day. There was people working 3 shows in one day. Yeah. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. And they were going to, all the way out there to get paid, and now they don't have that income coming in. A lot of wrestlers are out of money. But, as I mentioned on the Live to Win podcast, which I haven't done an episode in over 3 years, but we did an episode, me and Mike Stover, former host of the Turnbuckle Pad podcast. We talked about COVID-19, and one of the things I brought up was this is a great time, even though you're not in the ring, work on your character. Start building the backstory to your character. Start interacting more with your fans online. Shoot film, for YouTube, for Twitter. Go live, take questions. Fill the fans in a little bit. Ask them what your next gear should look like. Just get really interactive about it at this point. But, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
If you remember when we talked about this, about the WrestleMania booking, I was telling you, I said it's the perfect time now to do vignettes, to get backstory in there. This is the perfect time, man. If the fans can't come to you, you go to the fans. How do you do that? You have social media, you have YouTube, you have whatever, Twitter, you have Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
There's so many platforms that you can reach out to the fans and, you still be out there, be relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And there are still ways for you to make money. There really are.
Yeah.
You just got to find them. They may not be in front of people, but you can find them for sure. And a lot of wrestling places, honestly, I know that they shouldn't have more than 10 people, but there are gatherings still, and training for some places are still going on, so you might still be able to get your fix and throw on a private show.
Yeah. Dude, even, what people love? What do people love? Shoot interviews.
Oh, yeah.
Why not? Why not sit down, book a shoot interview, put it online, have people pay, say, $5 to watch it, You know what I mean? You have a thousand
Well, think
people
about it.
watching.
It's
You're
what we
making
do.
money. Yeah.
What we do right now is podcasts. It's a great time for you to get booked on wrestling podcasts.
Yeah.
Share your opinion about the current product and fill them in on who you are, what you've been doing, and what you want to do.
Absolutely.
So there's always opportunities out there. But you brought it up earlier. Again, like I said, the quarantine. We're in Chicago. And some of you listeners are out in Canada, and you guys are all over the world, as we like to call you, the OverAF Nation, because we are actually nationwide. It's insane to think about that. But, how is this affecting you? Because I know we're on stay at home after 5 p.m.
Yep.
There's basically a curfew, a mandate going on in Chicago where they don't want anybody out after 5 p.m. How about you? How have you been handling this?
Yeah, it's been tough, man. I mean, staying inside and, it's not much to do, man. We got our work from home stuff we got to do. But as far as, like, socializing with people and, it's been kind of tough, man. If you're not thinking about yourself, you got to think about other people. Don't get people sick, man. Just listen. This will be over soon. If everybody just listens and does what they have to do, we'll be fine. And we'll get back to, we'll appreciate being outside. We'll appreciate the things we used to do more because of this, because it's been taken away from us, unwillingly. You know what I mean? So when we get back, we're going to be, better than ever. Even like with wrestling, man, when wrestling first comes back, can you imagine that first show?
Oh my God.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, this is their opportunity to make like a super show.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Make a super show. That'd be great. So
yeah, absolutely, man. Which, speaking about, you said when wrestling comes back, Danny Phillison, this is your time to shine.
Yeah.
Let us know what's over now.
Well, we'll start with AEW. AEW, in my opinion, has been doing the best job as far as empty arena matches, empty arena shows. Phenomenal. Jericho has been super entertaining. He had one of the best lines ever. He won a match and he said the stipulation was if I win or something, he's like, I'm gonna ban everyone from the stadium. No fans are allowed. It was so funny because he's having fun with it. You know what I mean? Matt Hardy's back. Matt Hardy came back with his broken character.
I saw.
Phenomenal.
I saw.
Yeah. Also, Luke Harper, formerly known as, or currently known as Brody Lee, he came back and he's the leader of the Dark Order. But what it actually is he's playing a parody of Vince McMahon.
Well, I didn't.
And people apparently in WWE are not very happy.
Really? I haven't seen it. I've seen him wrestle.
Yeah.
But how is he parodying Vince?
So he did a skit where they're in a restaurant, him and two other guys. And what happens is he's eating a steak, right? And the other two guys got food. And one of the guys tries to eat and he's like, hey, what the hell are you doing? He's like, you don't eat before daddy. He's like, dad eats first, right?
Okay, I saw that.
That's the thing with like Vince, apparently.
Really?
And then one of the guys sneezes. And the thing about Vince, he's like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a parody towards Vince, because when Brody Lee first came in his promo, he told Christopher Daniels, he said, you're not the only out of touch old man that hasn't believed in me. Like, whoa. But if you guys get a chance to, Jericho has had Brody Lee and Matt Hardy on his podcast. Take a listen to those two. They've been really, really good. You got some wrestlers now that would kill it in AEW. Ricochet. How would Ricochet be in AEW? He fits that style, but he's getting buried. I would love to have seen a Bobby Roode over there. EC3. Guys like that. I mean, guys that are not getting any chances. I promise you, man, once their deals are up, they're out of there.
Right.
They're out of there.
Well, no, you hit the nail on the head, man, about AEW. I watched the first SmackDown with the empty arena. I watched the first few, like half hour of it. And then I watched, some snippets from the Raw. And I saw some snippets from SmackDown again. And it's like, wow, AEW feels entertaining. You still feel engaged.
Yeah.
Versus WWE still feels as sterile as it did when people were there.
It's terrible. They even stowed AEW style of filming the matches.
Oh, have they changed it now?
Yeah, they've changed it. So how AEW films it, you got to see it to know what I'm talking about. But they
there is a certain way. There's a certain way that AEW was filming it that made you feel engaged. Still.
Yeah, because they're not showing the stands either. You know how when they have that camera on the WWE, they show that long angle and you can see the fans in the background.
Yep.
AEW did it like it's like you're playing a first person shooter almost. Like you're right there and you're seeing everybody. Everybody close.
One of the other things I noticed too is that when the wrestlers in AEW speak and cut promos, it's so much more flowing and natural than WWE. Now, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Do you think WWE is still scripting the wrestlers
100%.
right now? It's terrible.
That's why that's why the promos are so much better, because when you come into AEW, I believe these guys they're like, you know what? Be you. Say what you want to say, right? Can I tell Alex Thorn how to be Alex Thorn? Hey, Thorn, you're gonna say this promo, this is that. It's gonna sound terrible.
Yeah.
Because I don't talk like you. I don't have your mind.
Right.
So let me just see what you say, and then if I can improve on it and give you some suggestions, cool. But I'm not gonna write a whole script out for you and say this.
There's rumors going around that a certain big name will not make it to WrestleMania 36 that they have supposedly requested to take time off. That's Roman Reigns.
Yeah, man. He has health concerns, man. The guy has a very vulnerable immune system, dealing with leukemia. Back to what you text me, I believe Vince is the only one that really didn't want to cancel anything. Mm-hmm. And that makes sense. But when you do that, you're just sending your employees, like if it was a job, that you don't care. You know what I mean? You don't care about us. You just care about making money. So... there's been a lot of wrestlers have been sent home because they've been sick. So it's gonna be tough.
Oh, man. I'm sure. I bet you WWE is not gonna let on. I bet you if somebody gets sick, they're not gonna tell you.
Oh hell no! So you're telling me out of their whole roster, not one person has shown any signs?
Bullshit.
If one person shows signs, that means they have to cancel the whole show.
Right.
Because if that person was around wrestler A, who hangs around with wrestler B, who hangs around with, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's going to be that chance. And then everybody's going to go into mass hysteria and be like, I'm not coming to work.
Well, what's shocking to me is that they haven't postponed WrestleMania, for one, until all this is over. The other shocking thing to me is that why aren't they just doing best of shows?
They kind of are.
Why are they? A little bit. Yeah. They're throwing matches from pay-per-views in there from before. But they still have people wrestling. They still have gatherings. Yeah. I don't understand why that's happening. I really don't. With NBA, baseball, all these people canceling, why is wrestling still able to do this?
I got an idea for this show, right? So, let's say you do that top 10 best ofs, right? We'll get two wrestlers together via Skype. Have them talk about the match. What were we thinking here? Mm-hmm. What was the storyline? What did it lead up? What led up to it? Just have kind of like a director's commentary on the favorite matches that we've seen. Let's say Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Have them talk about their two WrestleMania shows.
They've been doing that lately.
Right.
YouTube, they uploaded Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. But do it more like almost like a live stream. Have them do it on the USA Network. And both of them talking.
Yeah.
And, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, another good storyline is the Jake Roberts and Lance Archer trying to get a match with Cody Rhodes. Jake Roberts, man, he hasn't lost it. His mic skills are phenomenal. And Lance Archer is a badass. He actually got in a little Twitter spat with Braun Strowman.
Did he really?
Yeah, the fan told him that you're like a, Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman's like, yeah, he's a cheap version of me or some shit, and they got in the Twitter spat, but he's a really good wrestler. So
I remember him in TNA. Yeah. I haven't seen him after he left that, but I always had a good impression of him.
New Japan. If you want to check out a good match with him, he had a great match with Will Ospreay. If you go on YouTube, you just check that out, and it's a badass match.
Absolutely. One of the things that I picked up on, and you've let everybody know that I'm not a fan of Matt Hardy here.
Yeah.
And all it takes is, the mentioning of his name to see my face. But I did like what I saw in AEW.
Yeah.
I saw his debut. I liked it. And I saw his confrontation with Chris Jericho this past week, and I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great, man.
He looks happy.
He does.
He looks happy. If you see his last run in WWE when he was in this, he looked miserable. He was just like, all right, I'll go out there, I'll go through the motions, but he actually looks happy, man. So
yeah,
we'll see what comes of that. But also, talking about WrestleMania, what do you think if Roman Reigns can't do it? Who's a replacement? They're talking about Braun as a possibility, which kind of works. You know, I mean, it's a Goldberg. Think of it, Goldberg versus the Giant Part 2.
Oh shit!
He doesn't. So
I think that's 1 week away, basically.
They gotta come up with something fast. Remember what I told you, man? I said it last time. I said they're gonna pre-tape. They're gonna shoot it like a certain way, like a movie, and that's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. That way, if there's a fuck up in a match, you can reshoot it. Like, it makes so much sense. Everything's going to be fluid. Everything's going to be like a fucking dance routine.
Yeah, to me, there's no need to shoot it live.
Well, they're going to do, I believe it's going to be, The Fiend and Cena's going to be like a House of Horrors type of thing.
Okay.
Like a movie, dude. It's going to be like a slasher movie. That's what you're trying to entertain people, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to look right in a ring. WrestleMania is not going to look right in an empty ring like you're shooting SmackDown or Raw. It's just not. No. It has to be different. You know, something like that. Like, when I talk about filming like a movie, I mean film it like you would a movie with reactions.
No, I agree with
cameras.
you. I was going to say, and I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, there should not be any seats. There shouldn't be seats. They should build a custom looking arena with, you know, certain backgrounds and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We don't need to see empty seats. We don't need any of that. Just make it like a video game stage, like a stage play. Just do something.
Spotlight right on the ring, and everything else in the background just dark.
Make it look like almost like a compound, like a fight.
Yeah.
You know, do something very unique because, as I mentioned before, there is opportunity in this.
Yeah.
Every year we talk about WrestleMania. They run us down the history. It has this amazing legacy. And when we look back at WrestleMania 9, we always talk about the atmosphere. When we look back at WrestleMania 24, we talk about the atmosphere. It's going to be one of those WrestleManias that we look back at. It's very unique and, oh my God, a sign of the times that was going on.
Yeah.
But with that being said, man, as like I said, WrestleMania has an amazing legacy, which leads us to this week's episode, WrestleMania 5, where the mega powers explode.
Yeah.
Now, that's really what we want to skip to, honestly. If we, even though it's our podcast, we just want to go straight to this match.
Yeah.
But let's set it up with, this was the second WrestleMania to be held in Atlantic City at the Trump Plaza in front of 18,946 people. I mean, that's a big crowd, 19,000 people, especially at this time, because remember, we spoke about this when we reviewed AWA versus WCCW Super Clash. They drew, what was it, 1,500 people?
Yeah.
And this is 19,000. For as many people that are here, dude, I don't know if it's this version or if it's always been like this, but did you notice that the crowd was pretty quiet?
Very. Even when, like, the match with Ultimate Warrior, which usually he gets a huge reaction, they were so quiet.
Yeah.
Like, this is, I don't know, maybe it's the acoustics in the building. Who knows?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, there were so many matches where I was like, they should be popping for this. And you don't really hear them. They're not audible. In this WrestleMania, there were 14 matches. We start off the night with Hercules versus King Haku. Bobby Heenan is out here at least, 12 of the 14 matches.
Yeah.
And it's a former Heenan family member going against a current Heenan family member in Haku. It's a pretty good match for 6 minutes and 57 seconds. Not very fast. We weren't at that point yet where we were starting off with fast matches.
Yeah.
But I was impressed. Hercules actually had the crowd cheering for him.
Yeah, it's the first match. You're always going to get, I think, the most energy starting off with the first match because everybody's fresh.
It's a good spot to be in.
It's a great spot. It's a great spot. The worst spot to be in is the second match.
Yeah.
Because people are so fatigued. It's like, shit. But Haku, man, the most feared man in wrestling.
I never liked Haku until he came to WCW. until he became Meng.
Right.
I didn't look at him as anything. I was like, this guy is small. He's boring. He's not entertaining. Then when he got to WCW, he put on some pounds. He had that bodyguard look to him.
The bodyguard look, right? Exactly. Yeah.
And he, I think his first opponent, real feud, was with Sting. I was instantly into him. I was like, okay, this is where he belongs. This is the way I want to see him.
Yeah.
But Haku and King Haku, he never really.
I
fit.
agree. Meng was the character that made me like him.
Absolutely. But Hercules goes over in 7 minutes, and then we go to the Twin Towers. Akeem and the Big Boss Man, led by Slick, taking on the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty.
Great match.
8 minutes of tag team bliss.
Great match. The great thing about this match is the chemistry they have. You got two big guys versus two smaller guys. It's perfect. I mean, when you see this match, you can see why Shawn Michaels was gonna be who he was in the future. His timing, the way he sold. Even Jannetty, you thought Jannetty was gonna be the guy, but
I did. 89, 90, I thought Jannetty was gonna be the breakout star. It wasn't until 91 that I was like, you could tell Shawn is pulling ahead of Marty.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. It was well played.
Good match, man. I mean, a lot of good tag team moves. You had a lot of power moves. You have a funny spot where Big Boss Man goes up to the top and tries to splash, and it is the worst landing that you've ever seen in your life.
It's a Thorn landing.
It's a Thorn landing. I didn't want to say it, but
I was waiting for it.
I was holding back, but yeah.
No, but they played it off perfectly. You know who had a big part in that match? Gorilla Monsoon.
The commentating, yeah.
On commentary, man, Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon make these matches.
That chemistry, dare I say, I think them two are my favorite of all time. Of all time. Because when I started watching wrestling, it was them. It was him. Well, it was with them, and then also when Bobby Heenan and Monsoon. Those are my favorite. If I had to pick any era, if I had to pick, let's say 2-3 announcers, it's them. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, we hear a lot, obviously, about Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah.
We hear a lot about Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. But, man, this one is often left off the charts, which is Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good. A lot of people talk about Vince McMahon and Jesse.
Yeah.
That was good, too.
That's good, too.
But I honestly prefer Gorilla and Jesse.
100%. And Jesse Ventura is just, he's that, you have to have a heel announcer. You have to.
He's a heel.
He's a heel. He calls them, the Hulkamaniacs, the Pukesters.
Yeah, Lust Hogan.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, from there we go to Brutus Beefcake taking on Ted DiBiase.
Wait, who won the match?
Oh, I'm sorry, the Twin Towers.
And how did they win the match? What move did Hakeem hit?
Oh, God. Do I have to say it?
Yes, please.
Hakeem hit Shawn Michaels with Air Africa and won the match in 8 minutes.
You ain't kicking out of Air Africa, man.
No. Big white man. His fucking finisher is Air Africa. But yeah, the next match is Brutus Beefcake taking on Ted DiBiase for 10 minutes. It ended up in a double count out. Brutus was on top.
Another good match.
Yes, man. Brutus was definitely on top here.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate what would happen to him in the boating accident. No, it was a motorcycle, right?
Motorcycle, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was really unfortunate what happened to him in the motorcycle accident because he never recovered. His career, his athleticism, his charisma, it never recovered after that. But here, you can see why Brutus was pushed to be the Intercontinental Champion so many times, but always fell short because of an injury.
Yeah. He was such a good character, though, man. Fans loved him.
Yeah.
He had the barber shop.
Absolutely.
And look at one of the greatest moments in wrestling history happened at the barber shop with Shawn Michaels throwing Marty Jannetty through the...
He was huge during that barbershop time.
Big dude.
Because he had so much time to work out and he wasn't in the ring.
Yeah.
He was monstrous. But here in 1989, later on in this year, he would get pushed to the main event scene with Hogan as a tag team partner against Randy Savage and Zeus. Sometimes against Randy Savage and Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
SummerSlam, Survivor Series. It was always something there for him. You can see why. He gets a good pop. He was a popular character, and believe me, if you guys have any prejudice against Brutus Beefcake for, what you saw in WCW or any of that other stuff, That's not the same Brutus that is here at WrestleMania 5. The Brutus that you guys saw in WCW or even late WWE, like, WrestleMania 9.
He's a shadow.
That's a shadow,
yeah.
a shell.
Yeah.
You got to understand what happened to this guy. His dad, actually both of his parents passed away.
Yeah.
Within the span of 6 months, you can feel that loss. You know that.
Yeah.
His wife filed for divorce, and then he got into the accident, where he couldn't wrestle for almost 2 years. The guy you guys saw later on was just a shadow, a shell.
Yeah. But, dude, when he came to WCW as a disciple...
No.
Yeah, when he came as a disciple.
Oh, no, he was already there.
I know he was there, but I'm saying when he came back as the disciple,
Okay.
remember, I didn't know who he was.
No, nobody did.
I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Nobody knew.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it results in a double count out. It's a good match. Here's where things start to slow down a little bit. There's a 10-minute Bushwhackers versus...
The Rougeaus.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, man. I couldn't make it through this match.
Oh, man, come on. The Bushwhackers, man.
Mm-mm.
The dance, they licked the fucking fans.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it, man. It's 10 minutes. It's slow. It's entertaining. It's the who was the wrestler that played like he was slow?
Eugene.
I know him by Nick Dinsmore.
Yeah.
I know him by that name. But yeah, like it's that typical thing. It's Festus. It's your typical Vince McMahon idea to make a silly match with silly characters.
Which I think this is the right spot for it. It's right, like close to mid card. You gotta have that, man. There's people that actually like that, so you're catering to everybody.
The problem is that this dry spell goes on for about the next hour and a half.
Yeah, there's a lot of matches that are like, it doesn't up until it gets to, I want to say, like the 9th match is when you start seeing like, okay.
We're on the 4th match with the Bushwhackers against the Rougeaus. It goes 9 minutes and 10 seconds. The Bushwhackers defeat the Rougeaus in this match. Next, we've got Mr. Perfect and Blue Blazer for nearly 6 minutes. There's no hype. This is the first time that Kurt Hennig comes out as Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
And with the new gear, because they even mentioned it, saying, oh, look, he's got new gear. He looks confident now.
Yep.
So this is the debut of Mr. Perfect as we know him.
That's my favorite attire of his. Remember when I told you? I was like, this is how I remember Mr. Perfect.
Right.
Because this is the pay-per-view that I was like, oh, shit. I was like, who's this guy? And that move, the perfect flex, I'm like, damn, that's pretty badass. At the time, I'm like...
Right, late 88, he came over to WWE from AWA, and he was an AWA champion. Perfect goes over Owen Hart, the Blue Blazer, at this time in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. The 6th match is pretty entertaining. The Demolition taking on the Powers of Pain with Mr. Fuji. It's a handicap match for the WWE Tag Team titles. And formerly, Mr. Fuji was the manager for Demolition, but they did a double turn at Survivor Series.
Yep. But Demolition, it was weird seeing them as good guys.
As babies, yeah.
They're not babies.
But they were cheered.
They were cheered. People loved them.
Oh, yeah. Remember the WrestleMania 6?
Yeah.
Like, here, the audience is pretty low. But at WrestleMania 6, holy shit, did they come off their seats for them.
Yeah. To me, I always thought, like, my favorite tag team feud when I was younger, because just the way they looked was like, I want to see Demolition and the Road Warriors go at it. Like, they just look like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it would be like a badass match.
What an unfortunate set of circumstances that Bill Eadie got sick right around that time that LOD was coming in.
Yeah.
So he was being phased out with Crush and the Steam for Demolition. Wow. I mean, dude, I have never seen the effort be dropped so fast for a tag team like Vince dropped the effort for Demolition. Once he got LOD, there was no need for Demolition for him.
No.
He was like, I got my guys that I wanted.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, in between the Perfect and Blue Blazer and also the Demolition match, Run DMC actually did a performance in the middle of the ring. I'm surprised they kept that here.
Yeah.
In the show, they usually take out performances on the WWE Network, which is where we're watching.
Because of royalties and stuff, right? If
Yeah.
they show them, they gotta
yeah, because like the Monday Nitro with Kiss on it, they took it out. The Nitro with Megadeth playing, they took it out. The Sunday Night Heat with Motley Crue, they took that out.
Right.
So,
yeah.
As we mentioned before, Demolition was his version of LOD, him being Vince McMahon. But they also had, I always felt like the Powers of Pain resembled LOD so much more than Demolition. Demolition, they were wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, they were actual workers versus LOD were just
brawlers.
Yeah. And so were what is it? Warlord and Barbarian. These are some big dudes. Even to this day, these guys are gigantic.
They could have done so much more with that.
They're a very much forgotten tag team. Until you mention them, people don't talk about them.
They could have done so much more with that. With those two big guys, man, forget it.
You know what I think it is? Powers of Pain weren't his creation. That's the problem.
Right. They came from NWA, I believe.
That's right.
So they were actually, I saw an interview with Barbarian, and he said before you remember the scaffold match where it was the Midnight Express versus the Road Warriors?
Yes.
Remember where Cornette fell and broke both his legs?
Yeah.
So that was supposed to be them.
Really?
And they left like a couple of weeks before. They said, no, we talked to Vince. Because Warlord said, he's like, that spot of Cornette falling, he's like, that was going to fall on me. And he's like, I was not going to do that. Because I know, like, man, you know what? That could have hurt my career if I can't wrestle, So that's why that happened. And then they debuted at WrestleMania.
Yeah, they looked amazing, and obviously when you look at them here, they look like LOD.
They look like that looks like a hawk on the right, and the other one looks like Animal. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a fun match. This picks it up a little bit more. It's entertaining because it is a handicap match.
Love their mask.
But nonetheless, it's a fun match. Demolition go over by decapitating Mr. Fuji with their move in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Next up, oh my God, we've got Dino Bravo taking on Ronnie Garvin. But thankfully, it only goes for 3 minutes. Dino Bravo goes over. The eighth match has the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard with Bobby Heenan, which sounds like a dream team, taking on the returning Strikeforce, Rick Martel and Tito Santana. But this reunion does not last long.
One of my favorite moments ever because it was the birth of arrogance, baby. It was the birth of the model. I love it.
Skip forward a little.
Chico was holding him back, Thorn. Okay, he had to do what he had to do.
I agree. I'm with you, man.
Martel's the man. Martel was the Michaels and Tito was the Jannetty. Am I wrong?
Yes.
All right.
You're right.
Okay, I'm right.
You're right.
Damn right.
I'm not gonna dispute that.
Come on.
There's not too many shows we review where Tito Santana is on it. But now that we mention him, and he's not a guy that we talk about a lot, I can't believe that in 1992 it was actually considered to put the heavyweight title on him.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I just remember on commentary, just to show how bad and racist these people were back then, when he did the
flying taco?
The flying burrito, actually.
Flying burrito.
Get it right, yeah. It was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these fucking guys, dude.
And then he didn't call him Tito. He would call him Chico.
Chico, yeah. Chico.
Yeah.
But Martel, oh my goodness.
Well, do you remember the Survivor Series where the last 3 survivors of all the matches were Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, and Tito Santana?
Yeah.
And it was just like, what?
Yeah.
What is he doing there?
They believed in him, man.
That's when they were like, well, we were thinking about it. We put him in the hat to be the next champion. Especially when the steroid trial went on, they thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like,
let's look at a guy that looks like he doesn't do any steroids.
Yeah.
Yep, Tito's the guy.
Tito's the guy.
Man, that would have put to steal Shivani's saying that's gonna put butts in the seats.
That's right.
Jesus Christ,
boy! Dude. If you thought they would have empty arenas now,
yeah, right. That would have been the genesis of this, dude. Yeah. No virus needed.
I'm not. Gotta fan myself here. Oh my God.
Boy, oh boy.
I'm sorry, Tito. We just shit all over.
Sorry, man. Now. But when you think of Hogan, you think of Savage and Warrior. Yeah, Tito ain't even in the same fucking planet, dude. Sorry.
Oh man, you know what though? Kind of coming back to this match. I would say the hardest worker of this entire night was Bobby the Brain Heenan. This man has been out here so many times.
Took bumps.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
He did so amazing. He's if not the greatest, one of the greatest, top 3 of all time performers in professional wrestling, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
As far as manager, I think he's number 1.
Yeah. You know, man, I'm going to throw in a very controversial comment here that I know nobody out there will agree with me with. But, goddamn, the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson, Tully, they were so boring. When you looked at the totality of entertainment and characters available in the WWE at the time, they weren't it, dude. I skipped it all the time.
Here's the thing. They were great workers. They just didn't have the charisma.
No.
That's the problem. Like, if you would have had Arn and Flair, it's different. Because you have that charisma. You have one of them has charisma. You put 2 workers in the ring like that, it's kind of like what the Revival are. You know? They're great workers. They just don't... Somebody's got to have charisma.
Somebody.
It has to...
And people are going to disagree with us. They're going to say, are you insane? You know, have you not heard Arn Anderson on the mic? I get it. I understand. He's like essentially like a Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah.
But Jake also had the snake.
Right.
Jake had the snake in there, and Jake had a certain way of selling that was entertaining as well and playing to the crowd. Unfortunately, these guys just did not have that. Yeah. And in this climate, this one short year that they were in WWE, I always skip their matches. Even to this day, I try to watch this match, and I'm like, this would be great today. The fans of today would love this. But me thinking back, that was gold.
Ray, come on, baby.
Oh, my God, that was gold.
That was perfect.
There's a moment in time when the Brainbusters have the 2 figure 4s put on them in the middle of the ring by both Strike Force members. And Arn Anderson reaches over to Tito Santana, I think, and eye rakes him. And Tito doesn't even have the figure 4 on him. He has it on Tully.
It's perfect because he knows if his partner breaks out, he's going to help him get out of this. Yeah, it's smart. It's smart.
It's smart stuff. And again, I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying they were a snore fest to me. And even at this point, when we've got a show that features Air Africa and the Rockers and, you know, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude, all these characters, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, the Brainbusters don't stick out. And I think even that statement, Arn Anderson would agree with.
Yeah, I think but as far as like an actual wrestling match, it's a good match.
Oh, of course, yeah, it's a great wrestling match.
Yeah. If you see the little things that they do, like that thing where Anderson raked them in the eyes, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. The ending of this match comes at 9 minutes and 17 seconds when Tito Santana mistakenly does his finishing move, the flying...
Air Mexico.
He does the flying forearm mistakenly to Rick Martel.
Yeah.
Knocks his own partner out. They were apparently already having issues. Somebody was injured during this time, and they were doing singles matches.
Yeah.
Because Jesse on commentary is constantly saying that they've got to be rusty.
Right.
And after getting hit, Rick Martel just has none of it. He leaves the ringside. The people boo. Finally, there's a reaction from them.
Yeah.
And Brainbusters take the match by beating Tito Santana in the middle of the ring. Next up, we've got a very long but entertaining Piper's Pit, essentially. Or was it the Piper's Pit, or was it the Love Show?
No, the Love Show is what Brother Love had.
Well, he was hosting it.
Yeah.
It was billed as a very special Piper's Pit.
Okay.
But then
with
Bruce Pritchard, Brother Love, comes out as wearing a kilt.
Yep.
As well. Now this is gold.
It is.
I mean, this is WWE at its best, to be honest with you. But he comes out fooling everybody to Roddy Piper's music. The red face. He was a play on what was the popular '80s Reverend?
Swagger.
Jimmy Swagger?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think it was Jimmy Swagger.
Yeah, not Gigi Avila.
Oh my God! No! Oh no, dude!
How long has it been since you heard that name?
Oh, I love him, dude. Dude, every household has to have that, man. A picture of Jesus and Gigi Avila next to each other. He's a hero, dude. You kidding me?
I know.
Oh my God.
Jimmy Swagger.
I can't believe you said that. Jesus Christ. Oh no.
Yes, he was a play on Jimmy Swagger at the time. And he comes out imitating, essentially interviewing himself, asking questions on one seat, switches over to the other seat, imitates Roddy Piper. Very entertaining, but then...
One of the most hated men ever. Morton Downey Jr. Jesus, this guy.
He's an asshole. He
Oh
was
my
a dick,
goodness, dude. This was one of my favorite WrestleMania moments of all time. Do you think it was planned for them to do that? For Piper to do that?
According to Bruce Pritchard, it wasn't, but everything here says that it was.
I don't know, man.
The turning of the back, the movements, the teasing, it all points towards it was.
I don't know why he would agree to something like that. But I loved it.
It was great.
Because he's such an asshole, dude.
Yeah.
What a heel, this guy.
That's a real heel.
You got two of the biggest heels in wrestling. You got him and Trump in the same building.
That's true, yeah.
Jesus.
Well, you know what's funny is my stepfather, the first man I knew as my father before he passed away, looked exactly like Morton Downey Jr.
Wow. Yeah. Smoking cigarettes and oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would think that it would be like ganging up on Piper, Brother Love and Morton Downey, but no. Morton is really a loner in here. He's not getting along with Brother Love. He's not getting along with Roddy Piper.
Right.
He's just gold, man. Piper's so good here.
Phenomenal. This was a great segment because you could feel real heat.
You sure can?
You ain't never had a guest like me before. I'm gonna tell you something straight out one time. Milk white, long hair, skirt, same thing. Later on, he got picked up in a bar as a transvestite.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great segment between the two. If you don't know who Morton Downey Jr. is, look up YouTube. You will see why Roddy Piper treated him the way he did and why the fans themselves booed him.
Yeah.
After that, we've got Mean Gene Okerlund introducing one of the greatest films of all time, brother. The only reason Macho Man Randy Savage got the heavyweight title in the first place, Hogan had to go away and film No Holds Barred.
Yeah.
And the debut preview of this movie was here at WrestleMania 5. And that set up everything for me, dude.
God,
I missed WrestleMania 5. Like I told you last week, I didn't see this. I started watching right after this.
Yeah.
When Zeus debuted on Saturday Night's Main Event. The match where Hogan took on Big Boss Man with the big blue steel cage. That's my first wrestling match that I saw, my first wrestling event, and I was hooked. Yeah. So it was this period, this era. The quintessential heel to me is Zeus, just in looks.
What did you think of Hogan's attire?
Oh, dude, in love.
Oh my God,
in love.
Even there with the red.
Yeah, the red and black. When I was a heel,
I was a heel,
I was in red and black.
Yeah,
and as a baby face, it's blue and white. It's the same thing.
It's phenomenal. What a great... See, now when I talk about WrestleMania being filmed, this is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Would that not work?
Yes, it would work.
Phenomenal. It would be phenomenal. To do it just like this with the vignettes, to film it just like this would be great. Look there's nobody in the arena. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's a small arena. You could film it just
film
like
it like
that.
A movie.
Perfect. It'd be perfect. Oh, man, the intensity. Even though it was a movie, I was still worried for Hogan.
Were you?
I was like,
well, there was those slow moments where they had him be out and everything. Those Rocky-like moments.
It was such a great... Oh, man, dude.
You know what? For me, I just started watching it again the other day after I reviewed this. I didn't get all the way through it because I had to go somewhere. But to me, I still skip all of the Battle of the Tough Guy moments.
Yeah.
The Zeus moments I stick with. But everything else that's not Hogan or Zeus, I kind of skip over because it feels like a drag.
Right.
But again, the movie was filmed, was written in like 2 days.
Yeah.
They rewrote the whole thing in 2 days, so it's understandable. They missed some opportunities.
We got Trump cutting a promo afterwards.
Yeah, Trump is cutting a promo. Jesse Ventura is really jealous. He's angry about Hogan, coming to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And as Jesse says, the reason he's going out to Hollywood is because after he loses to the Macho Man, he won't have a job anymore.
So good.
Yeah. Next matchup we have is Andre the Giant taking on Jake the Snake Roberts. This match goes 9 minutes and 44 seconds. Also, Big John Studd, who won that year's Royal Rumble, he's coming out here. Apparently, they were bringing Studd back with the teasing of like he might be something big again.
Yeah.
But he left because he said the paydays weren't good.
I believe it.
Well, a lot of them. There's a lot of people saying that now. Like even Ricky the Dragon Steamboat said the paydays weren't good and creative. But there's a lot of guys from back then that said, yeah, you thought they were making great money, but unless you were working with Hogan, you really weren't making good money.
That's true. It's true. I'll always remember Big John Studd as being one of the first dumb wrestler characters I had. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I had him. Yeah.
Wow.
Big John Studd was one of the dumb wrestlers. Yep. That stance. Yep. He was one of the... It was him, and I think I had Hogan. Him and Hogan. Yep.
He had the arms up a little bit like this.
Yeah, the thumb wrestlers. Dude. You remember that shit, man? Oh,
wow.
man. If you guys don't know, if you're probably too young to remember this, but there was these action figure type things that were thumb wrestlers, and they were the wrestlers, but you could slide it into your thumb. It was like a little plastic figurine.
Yep.
In the back, it had
rubber, actually.
Yeah, and it had a little hole in there where you could stick your thumb in and kind of like thumb wrestle. It was great.
Absolutely.
We'll see if Thorn puts up like on OverAF his Twitter up there so people can see. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wherever you are, it's like real wrestling action. The junkyard dog and bullfrog. Come wrestle anywhere with Hulk in the Iron Sheik. Attention, back to correct. Wrestle anywhere with wrestling.
There he goes.
Yep. There he is. That's the one I had. Yep.
So, yeah, I had Hogan and I had Nikolai Volkov.
Wow, man. They don't make toys like they used to, man.
So, in this match, basically, like I said earlier, 9 minutes and 44 seconds, Andre controls the match at least 8 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's granted because,
It's the way it should be.
it's the way it should be. Jake does not even get a moment in there until Andre is distracted with Big John Studd.
Well, he's lucky Andre liked him in real life, because if not, he probably would have killed him like he did to Warrior.
Right.
He's walking like Thorn. You gotta see how Andre power walks towards Jake to stop him from getting the snake. Oh my god.
That is kind of me. You catch me in the morning, that's definitely me trying to catch my son.
It's so funny. Yeah. Get over here.
I can't.
Slow down. Oh boy, this was when Andre was like, I don't know.
He was done. A lot of people say he was done at WrestleMania 3 already, but I would say he was slowing down massively there. Here, he's pretty much done.
Yeah.
And then 6, it's even worse. But you know what? They put on a good show.
Yeah.
Thank God he has the legendary status that he did at this time. I was surprised at how well Jake the Snake moved.
Yeah. But Andre, they say, had a real phobia of snakes.
Right.
He was terrified. He would tell him, boss. He would tell Heenan, boss, no, the snake. Yeah.
Today they would say, oh, Jake got buried. He didn't get any offense.
Not at all.
It was a DQ. Nobody wants that. Look, this was story-driven, and they prepped up. They were also working on the story of Ted DiBiase and Jake the Snake Roberts, because he comes in there. They were also working on the Big John Studd feud with Andre the Giant from the past.
Yep.
Remember, that's harking back to WrestleMania 1, right, with the Body Slam challenge.
Andre only wanted to be the only giant. Like, he was offended when anybody tried to say like that they're a big guy. But yeah, Jake got as much offense as he deserved.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're fighting a giant. What are you supposed to do? He even got him to the ground. The fact that Andre at that time let him do that just shows you that he liked him.
Absolutely. Jake Roberts again goes over in 9 minutes and 44 seconds with a DQ. Then we've got the Hart Foundation. Bret Hart, who obvious star, so fucking smooth.
Yep.
With Jim the Anvil Neidhart taking on Rhythm and Blues. Greg the Hammer Valentine's a honky tonk man with Jimmy Hart. They weren't called Rhythm and Blues just yet.
Not yet.
But the seeds were there because they're a tag team already here. 7 minutes and 40 seconds, but man, is it good.
It's great. Dude, Greg Valentine, dude, come on, man. One of the best hands ever. He was great. Jimmy Hart's faction, right? It was Honky Tonk, Valentine. Who else did he have on his faction?
Later on, he would have the Nasty Boys.
The Hart family. Yep.
Yeah, he had a lot of people.
He did.
But he didn't really have... Did he have a name for it?
The Hart family.
Was
right?
it the Hart
Yeah,
family
yeah.
overall? Okay.
Not the foundation, the Hart family.
But the Hart family. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, just like earlier with Twin Towers against the Rockers, you can see stardom from Shawn Michaels, and here you can see just smoothness and star power coming from Bret the Hitman Hart.
But here we go. Another instance of you got charisma and you got a worker.
Mm-hmm.
For the Hart Foundation, the charisma was all Neidhart.
Yeah, 100%.
Because Hart was always the straight guy. He was going to be the guy that's all business, the worker. It's the same thing with Honky and Greg Valentine. Greg Valentine's the Bret Hart of the group. You know,
Yeah.
the worker, and Honky's the...
Well, the pink and black attire, I've always said this, that attire is really what helped Bret.
Yeah.
Extremely, because if Bret wore tights,
Yep.
just underwear tights,
Oh, terrible.
You know,
Yeah.
like a normal wrestler, like
Yeah.
Greg the Hammer Valentine,
Wouldn't work.
and it just said Hitman back there, it wouldn't have worked. He would have never been champion. I don't care. Everything about him could have stayed the same, but he just wore tights. It wouldn't have worked.
I agree.
The pink and black attire helped him immensely. The
Shawn
glasses.
Michaels, too. Think about it.
Oh, well.
If you had tights, he wouldn't look the same.
Well, no, you're right, because his attire helped him so much when he became HBK.
Rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
You know?
When he had the hearts all over him and the tie-dye
Yeah.
and the zebra prints, it helped him
He was
crazy.
a hair metal character.
Big time.
So,
I loved it.
yeah,
The Hart Foundation go over in 7 minutes and 40 seconds
by cheating.
by cheating, but that's because Jimmy Hart was going to hand the megaphone to Rhythm and Blues, but instead Jimmy Anvil Neidhart stopped him.
Yep.
Because Jimmy Hart is their former manager, so they know they were just turning babyface.
Right.
Right? And he tosses it to Bret Hart. So instead of the bad guys using the foreign object, the good guys do
It
it.
was great. And you didn't see that a lot either.
Yeah. We've got my favorite, the Ultimate Warrior,
Ugh.
taking on Rick Rude in a match that was entirely carried by Rick Rude.
It was... Warrior had, I want to say, 4 moves. Bear hug, it was a rope toss, a clothesline, and a body slam.
Right.
Those were the 4 moves of Warrior in this whole match.
Yep.
So it was a
And they
lot
were
of...
done over and over and over again.
Yeah. He was just green, man.
He was very green here.
Yeah.
Um,
And no selling like you wouldn't believe. Oh, Rude
No,
hits him with a
that's
perfect
not
power
true.
drive. Look at this. Oh my
Beautiful power
God,
drive.
that was textbook. You want to see a textbook power driver? Rick Rude on Warrior.
I wouldn't go as far as saying that he didn't sell. He was selling throughout this entire match.
I don't know. He when it first started, he was just no selling everything.
Well, he's big and powerful. He
Yeah.
shouldn't sell
Yeah.
from the beginning, but eventually he does sell. He sells his midsection, whatever.
Yeah.
Rick Rude worked on, he sold.
Look at how much bigger Ultimate Warrior looks than Rick Rude. And Rick Rude's a big dude, bro.
Yeah.
When he puts him in the bear hug, just look at how much bigger the Warrior looks.
The great thing about it is because Rick Rude is such a great worker, there's psychology in the match. He's selling, what is he selling? His back, right? His lower back.
Yeah.
Through the entire match, he's selling his lower back. Previous to the match, Rude found something to talk about with Warrior. Tell him, hey, work on this.
Yeah.
You know, something to work on, which is great, and they needed that.
Warrior hits him in the back.
Yeah,
I remember he grabs his back tight,
quite
so
a
he
few
hits him.
times.
Yeah, right in the
He
back.
also loses him, almost hurts him several times. He almost fell out of the ring later on.
Yeah.
Together because Warrior lost his footing. But nonetheless, Warrior was being pushed. He was already the Intercontinental Champion. He already ended the 400-day reign of
Honky Tonk Man?
Honky Tonk Man
Yeah.
at SummerSlam the previous year. Right? Who does he win it back from?
Good
Who
question.
did Warrior win it back from? Rude?
Might have been a rematch with Rick Rude.
Yeah, because he gets the title back before WrestleMania 6, obviously.
Yeah, because obviously it's Intercontinental versus
Yeah.
Champion. But no, as far like that moment, one of my all-time favorite moments was that match.
SummerSlam?
Him running in, he beats. That was. You want to talk about like goosebumps? I got him when that happened.
There you
That
go.
was when I was a Warrior fan until he beat Hogan. Then I hated his guts. But yeah, that was one of my favorite moments. I mean, Warrior just If you're a kid and you wanted an action figure, you wanted
Warrior was a live action figure.
He's an action figure.
Living, breathing action figure.
As a wrestler, like, you want to talk about marketing, you want to talk about, like, what you would put on t-shirt, action figures, whatever you want.
Endless possibilities.
I mean, he's got the look, the long hair, you know, obviously the physique, the different color. What do you think about the yellow? That was Hogan colors.
Not necessarily. He's not wearing just red and yellow like you would later on when he teamed with Savage.
Yeah.
Yes, yellow was seen as that, but since he's wearing black boots, he's got trimmings of blue in there. It's not bad, but it's not what we would later know him to be.
What's your favorite attire of his? Oh, that was terrible. What's your favorite attire of his? If you had to pick one.
WrestleMania 12, the blue.
The white and blue?
Yeah. The blue, orange, white. That's probably my favorite. He's got so many. There was a moment in time where he would wear purple, black, and yellow.
Yeah.
That looked amazing. You know, his American one that he wore at
Royal
Rumble was cool.
That was really cool. What if he would have had, could you imagine Warrior with, like, the black and white like Hogan?
I think so. I mean, later on, he came out of what? In WCW, a few times he wore black and orange with smears of like yellow orange.
Yeah,
but he looked cool in black. He did.
I love when he teamed up with Macho and they had that attire. I loved it.
I couldn't.
You didn't like that?
I hated it.
Oh no! Can you click on it here because I want to check it out. Look it up.
Ultimate Warrior loses it here in 9 minutes and 36 seconds by Bobby the Brain Heenan cheating. They go for a outside in suplex,
and then he holds
he holds his leg.
Yeah.
So it's as good of a Warrior match as you're going to get with a Green Warrior.
Yeah.
And then we've got, much like the Ronnie Garvin match earlier, we got Bad News Brown taking on Jim Duggan in a double DQ for 3 minutes and 41 seconds.
It's just funny how you hate the wrestlers that I grew up loving because of the reason you hate them for. Like Duggan and the Bushwhackers, I loved them.
Too silly.
That's what I loved about
Duggan in WCW I can deal with. Duggan in WWE I can't.
I loved it. Oh, come on, man.
And we got the Red Rooster taking on Bobby the Brain Heenan for 31 seconds. Bobby's accompanied by the Brooklyn Brawler.
The Brooklyn Brawler.
I mean, he was awesome. I love Brooklyn Brawler.
Come on, dude.
I loved him.
If
he was enhancement talent to the max.
Look, listen, man. He's on the Mount Rushmore of job. Tell me he's not. It's him. It's Horowitz. I would put Iron Mike Sharp up there. We need a fourth. Zack Ryder.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Ryder, man, but Jesus.
It's true. It's true. But thank God we are finally here at what we came... The reason we wanted to review WrestleMania 5.
Yes, sir.
The Mega Powers exploding, man. This started a whole year prior with the tournament, right?
Yeah.
To crown a new champion. God, even more than a year because of the biggest ratings ever of Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan on Saturday night's main event, drawing a 10.45. Insane. Of course, back then you didn't have what we have now, but still, they captured the world's imagination. That was the WrestleMania 3 rematch live on TV. We got the double screw job. How much money did he pay, brother, to have, exact identical made of Earl Hebner? And that leads to the title being vacated. Leads to a 18-man ridiculous 4-hour WrestleMania tournament where Macho Man takes the crown after beating 4 different opponents.
Held it for a year, right?
Holds it for an entire year. This gives Hogan time off to go, and it gives him time to film No Holds Barred, do the press releases and all that stuff. But he does not leave Macho Man's side. Not only is he there when Macho Man wins the championship, but he's also hot dogging the entire time. Every time they're on Saturday night's main event, he's putting his hand on Elizabeth. He's celebrating as if he won the championship. He's, finishing the matches instead of Macho.
You know what I noticed too in this match? I remember even Jesse Ventura says that just to show you how much Hogan politics. What am I gonna say? What happens?
The champion comes out first.
Never
happened.
Never. Even he's like, why is the champion coming out first? The champion there. Everybody knows when the champion comes out first, he's gonna lose.
Yep.
That's just the rule of wrestling.
Doesn't he say it here?
Ventura does.
Not only does he question it, but he goes, "How much did Hogan politic for this?"
Ventura says it.
Yep.
Ventura says it, absolutely. And looking back at it now, even my brother, I remember we were watching this, he's like, hey, the champion never comes out first. You know, that was before we knew of this.
Right.
But, yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, Hogan comes out last with no reason to come out last, to be honest. He should have come out first to get that pop. And then they really, really would have booed Savage.
Yeah.
You know? They really would have booed Savage. I thought the placement here was a little odd because if Hogan would have came out first, got the love of the people, Savage comes out next, and then Elizabeth comes out where Savage is berating her the entire time, telling her, no, go in my corner. Go in my corner. And Hogan saying, no, hey, you can come over here. That would have added more drama rather than Hogan coming out last.
Yeah. Another thing you see, which you will never see again, is Savage actually putting his hands on Miss Elizabeth, like touching her face and pushing her away. Like, dude.
Oh, not only that, but Jesse on commentary makes no bones about it. Well, maybe she needs a pop in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, he was saying he's like, oh yeah, Savage was smacking her around or something backstage. I think he says, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you can't say that.
Yeah,
you know?
Gorilla was saying it. Like, yeah, he smacked her around backstage and... thank God she saw the light with Hogan. She's after whoever wins.
Yeah.
know?
Right, yeah. Domestic abuse angle in wrestling. Here we go. That's just what we needed.
Yeah, this is my Hogan, by the way.
This is
89, 90.
This is Hogan. This is what made me fall in love with wrestling.
Yes.
This right here, when I remember Betty, my mom, she said Macho Man's gonna win $20. I said, hell no way Hulk Hogan loses. And yeah, this is what did it, man.
I'm just repainting Hogan in my vision with blue and white.
Right.
For
exactly.
me.
No, this is it, man. This is Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, absolutely. And earlier we didn't say it, but they did like a 1-minute snippet interview with Sensational Sherry, who put down Miss Elizabeth by saying, she's a little girl and she's going to teach her what it is to be a woman.
Right.
So they were already dropping hints that she was going to go with Savage. She wasn't with Savage at this point yet.
Right.
There's nothing more iconic in professional wrestling than Hulk Hogan tearing off his shirt.
Yep.
It's just an image that you can show to anybody, and they know right away what that is.
That's like even in the game, the WrestleMania game. I remember it was like,
when they finally did it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
What was the first one? Was it WrestleMania 18 or 19?
Yeah, I think it was 18.
Right? It was like a GameCube game. The first one where he ripped off his shirt, and of course it looked weird. It looked like a plastic bag ripping, but we were like, oh, they finally did it.
And Hogan actually he comes in. This was a pre-bandana. It was actually just the headband.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, he was just doing the headband here. He did a bandana as well a lot of times, but here it was just the headband. I loved the headband look. Yeah.
So that's, like I said, my version of Hogan I think I liked the best was this one, was the one where they had the headband on and not a bandana. Bandana Hogan's like later on.
Right.
But this is the Hulk Hogan that like I remember, dude. Like honestly, like to this day, as far as like when people say who's your favorite athlete, who's your favorite, in sports or in like Hulk Hogan will forever always be my number one entertainer, sports figure, whatever. Because he's the one that made me like just feel like the best emotion.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like saying the vitamin, your prayers, taking your vitamins, like having a cross. I have a cross because of Hulk Hogan.
Yes, I agree.
You have the same, right?
Same.
Like that's the impact that he had. I was like, oh man, I gotta have a cross. Like Hulk Hogan has one, I gotta have.
It wasn't 87. It was the 90. Event with Earthquake when he got crushed on the Brother Love show.
Yeah.
And he grasps onto the cross.
Right.
Ever since I saw that, I was like, I gotta have a cross.
Dude, and when I remember how devastated I was when Andre the Giant ripped it off his neck. I was like, you son of a bitch. I was like, I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
It was great, but yeah, to this day, man, still got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hogan pulling all the stops here. Very similar to the WrestleMania 18. He still pushes off Savage. He does his posing and all of that. It's a little bit less here because it wasn't as defined yet. But man, I mean, what a storyline. This drew all the eyes. There was nothing at this same time. NWA, WCW, really it was NWA. They were doing Steamboat versus Rick Rude, they were doing Steamboat versus Ric Flair.
Flair.
And, you know, a lot of people point towards those matches as being amazing matches, which they were. But that was not going to outdraw Hogan versus Savage.
No way. No, I mean, as far as you're talking about a, like, technical match...
Not even just technical.
They're going to have technical match, but as far as, like, a spectacle...
Spectacle.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know?
Just because of the storyline behind it, too. You know, with Miss Elizabeth being in there, they were former friends. Flair and Steamboat really didn't have that. It was just a rivalry.
Well,
you know?
it was a clash of personalities with
Yeah.
them. You know, the humble everyman at home, family man,
Yeah.
versus, you know, the Wall Street guy,
Right.
you know, who represented all the evil, basically, all the excess,
Exactly.
which is great as well. But in dimly lit arenas, it's hard to remember that over something like this,
Oh,
like
yeah.
19,000 people, man.
No doubt. And this is, like, if you watch these matches, man, this is how a wrestling match should look. You know, the pace of it, the baby gets his shine, you know, the heel has his moments, and then in classic Hulk Hogan fashion, you know, when you think you got him down, that's when he hooks up. And
Yeah.
that's when the fans, I mean, it's just amazing.
Oh, man, there's a moment in the match when Savage, of course, plays coward, leaves the ring beforehand, gets chased by Hogan, and he ends up putting Elizabeth in harm's way.
Yeah.
Right in front of him. So, again, showing you. And then look at what an asshole invites him in. What an ass. Yeah, after he's a coward and puts the woman in front of him, then he's holding the ropes for him, saying, well, come in, man. Come in.
So
I'll hold
good.
the ropes for you.
So good.
Savage was tough until he didn't have to be, you know?
Right.
You know, that's the thing, though. Like, Savage as a heel, amazing.
Great.
Awesome.
I thought he was a better heel than he was ever a babyface.
I was just about to say that. Savage as a babyface never worked for me.
Nope.
Especially when he was a champion. Like, he's not... And that's the unfortunate thing. As a heel, he was never champion as a heel.
Yep.
In WCW, he won all his titles as a babyface. And, of course, the last time he won it as a heel, he lost it the very next day. Both times, actually. But he's so much better. I wish we could have got Savage as a heel as champion and seen what that looked like.
I agree. He's got the look, man. He's got that heel look.
Right.
His intensity is that of a heel.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Oh, man. Yeah, they're both at the top of their game.
They're both at the top. Like I said, they both know who they are. It's an amazing match, dude. This match,
It is.
I know the storyline gets talked about more than the match,
Yeah.
right? People talk about, especially Saturday night's main events and the Mega Powers exploding. But the match, the culmination of this, it really defines this entire WrestleMania.
I agree.
Because there's nothing else in this WrestleMania that you can define the Mania by. Unlike, you know, like 24. You say, oh, this was the main event. But it was Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair that really defined that Mania. No, this is defined by the Mega Powers.
Easily. This was the match everybody. It was like
The
everything
entire
else.
year.
Yeah, everything else was just gravy. But this was it.
Yeah,
was
the
one
entire
that-
year was taken up by that.
Which I think that's what Mania should be. You shouldn't have other matches, shine the main event.
I agree.
Like, it has to be for the title, in my opinion. It's your heavyweight champion. It's got to be the most time, and it's got to be the most impactful match of the card. If anything else overshadows that, then I don't think you did your job. You know what I mean? Like WrestleMania, when we did WrestleMania 18. Hogan Rock should have been the main event.
But they weren't for the title.
It should have been for the title.
I mean, yeah.
How
granted.
how much bigger would it have been if, let's say, Hogan was the champion and Rock beat him for the title? I think that would have been better. I think Jericho and Triple H should have been the match before, and it shouldn't have been for the title. If I had to rebook it,
There's a lot you got to do, though. Because you don't find out. Like, you give that title to Jericho, right? Let's keep everything the same until December.
yeah,
And you give that title to Jericho, and then you find out in February or late January, February that you're bringing in Hulk Hogan and the NWO, and you've got, because remember that No Way Out is main evented by Jericho and Austin.
right.
We don't have Rock in the picture. We don't have Hogan in the title picture.
True.
It's hard to rebook it that fast.
Yeah,
You know, and you just had a returning Triple H that you pushed before you found out that you were bringing in Hogan.
right.
You know, there's a lot there, but when Randy Savage hits the flying elbow,
Man, I thought, like I said, my mom told me as soon as he dropped that elbow, I was like, it's over. Give my money. And I was like, shit. I was like worried, like, oh wow, But obviously, once he started hulking up, I knew it.
Yeah, no. Well, now we know that actually prompts him to hulk up. The flying elbow is the key for him to get up.
Yep.
And Hulk Hogan takes it home in great fashion. There's no waiting.
Nope.
There's none of the hot dogging in the middle of the ring. I'm serious.
Yeah.
He hits the big boot and instantly runs for the leg drop, which I think that's the way it should have always been done. It should be with urgency. And Hulk Hogan takes home his second heavyweight title in the WWE right here.
Second or third?
Is this the second?
You sure?
Yeah, because I believe yes, it's his second because his third was when he won it from Sergeant Slaughter at 7.
Okay.
His fourth was The Undertaker. His fifth was Yokozuna.
Okay.
So, with that being said, do I even have to ask you who was over AF at WrestleMania 5?
Oh, Bobby Heenan.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. But Bobby Heenan did
he did his job.
for his work.
Yeah,
his body of work here. No, but it's Hulkster, man.
This whole event is about the main event. The Mega Powers are over AF here, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both have the crowd in the palm of their hands.
I was invested. I mean, like I said, if I didn't already love wrestling, this is what made me fall in love with it. Was this match, and
we're gonna continue the march to WrestleMania.
Hopefully.
I know, right? WrestleMania 25 is up next on our list, man. What can we look forward to with that Mania?
What's the card? Let me check. Let me just see the card.
I mean, WrestleMania 25, we've got Chris Jericho taking on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Roddy Piper, Jimmy Snuka
That was a great
in a handicap match, man. We got the Hardys facing each other in an Extreme Rules match. We've got the match-defining Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels.
Oh, that's the one.
And, of course, Triple H taking on Randy Orton in the main event. There's a lot to look forward to at this event, I think.
Absolutely, but this is another Mania where it's one match, and that's Taker Michaels. That's the match that you pay for the pay-per-view to watch. It goes 30 minutes, which is unheard of. For guys at that time, at their age, for them to be on top of their game like that is unbelievable.
Absolutely. Guys, as always, follow us on Twitter at OverAFpod. If you have a business that needs help right now during everything that's going on in the world and you want to get heard some more, whether it's a t-shirt business, whether it's a training business, I don't care what it is, send an email over to overafpod@yahoo.com. We can work something out, get you heard all over the nation.
Get our gear, man. Get our we got OverAF gear right now that you can get as well. I got a cool snapback. I got the hoodie.
Yeah, we're OverAF'd out. We've got mugs, sweaters, shirts, and caps available now at iamthorn.com/shop. There's so much going on right now that we look forward to being your relief during all of this. Tune in next week when we review WrestleMania 25. For Alex Thorn and Danny Garcia, we are
OverAF.